On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Major attack against the Hezbollah in Lebanon. We're not going to bury the lead. It's one of the first things we'll cover. Plus, we've got a whole lot of other information that's coming out still around, of course, our wonderful would-be assassin. We're going to be talking about him as well. We got some very, very good stuff put together, and I think people are coming to terms with the reality that we're in a lot faster than many of us maybe realize. So things are going good. Now, we're going to show this video. This particular one doesn't actually show anything gory, but I do have one that kind of does. But let's show the... So just to give the story. So there's hundreds of members, and I think it's over 1,000 total, but hundreds of members of the Hezbollah all over Lebanon and some other places have had these pagers explode. Now, these pagers are a new thing that the Hezbollah were using, apparently, to, communicate with each other and try to coordinate and all this kind of stuff. So it's a physical device that have exploded at the same time everywhere. Obviously, one would think Israel is behind this in some way, shape, or form. No slam on Israel in any way. This is kind of where we're at, and they just took out a bunch of Hezbollah people, literally. Some died, some just got maimed, but it's pretty bad. Anyways, here's one. This is the dude right here that has apparently got a pager somewhere on him. Doesn't seem to hurt people really close by, interestingly, but it sure as hell hurts the individuals that it's attached to. I feel like that would have been an appropriate time for "I've fallen and I can't get up." Though, I'm not necessarily trying to make fun of people that just got blown up, but this is sort of acts of war. This is interesting to me in a couple ways. One, like I said, the fact that it didn't hurt others. This guy was standing right next to him. He's totally fine. That implies major intelligence in the design. So what it seems like, and I've got a couple thoughts, and I'm sure some of you guys, you can speculate in the comments below, please. But one of the first thoughts that hit me is this is quite possibly whoever manufactured these devices maybe knew where they were going to end up or had versions of them that had some sort of explosive device in it. Or the other possibility is they probably have those same, LiPo batteries that can explode, that catch fire and blow up if you do things to them. And Israel, they came up with Stuxnet and all that. They screwed up a bunch of centrifuges and quite possibly the ones in Japan during that 3/11 attack. But they might have found a way to kind of cause those things to superheat quickly and bam, blow up. Don't know, because it's weird how directional it is, and just maybe that's where the battery was located and the actual device itself sort of shielded or forced the explosion. Who knows? I don't know. This is a couple things that I came up with. But we do have also some word that Iran's ambassador to Lebanon was among those who were injured in these explosive devices all over the place. So that's interesting. Also, not only in Lebanon, so several Hezbollah members in and around Damascus, Syria, were killed and critically wounded after their pagers exploded. These incidents occurred simultaneously with coordinated explosions in Lebanon. Now, this is one that shows some graphic stuff. I don't know. I don't know where the line is drawn. I don't know. I don't think I should show it. This one's got some pretty graphic stuff in it. These devices created not full-blown holes into people, but very deep pits, like literally. Some of the wounds I saw were maybe almost softball size and deep, gross, many inches deep. Very, very serious wounds have been established by people that have had this happen. Now, interestingly as well, cell network problems and GPS malfunctioning now are being reported throughout Lebanon. They are systematically destroying Lebanon's communication systems. Know what comes next? Right? Isn't that typically when the attack would then come? Which I think this was that second one, yeah. So yesterday, a senior Biden advisor, Amos Hochstein, cautioned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday against initiating a wider war against Lebanon. Supposedly 3 sources close to this said, but of course it's Axios reporting it, so who knows if it's true. But Hochstein's message came as Israeli military and security cabinet have been ramping up preparations for a war against Hezbollah in Lebanon, which they hope would allow tens of thousands of displaced Israelis to return home. Exchanges of fire on the Israeli-Lebanon border, which started when Hezbollah attacked Israel on October 8th, have been consistently escalating. So there's concern that they might try to move this into a larger war. Folks, we are literally that close to having problems. If you guys still have your wealth tied up in the deep state system, that's a 401k or an IRA specifically, if you've got your wealth tied up in one of these two locations, you're sort of kind of in a tough place right now. Deep state's definitely losing control of the stock market at some point. They've been pumping all sorts of money into it for years. This bubble, many experts say, is well past the point of popping. Normal bubbles last 8 years or so. This one's like into the 12-year mark. Like it's way longer. And that just makes the pop that much worse, typically. So if you're tied into that, you're also attached to the dollar, which right now, through inflation and what the government's currently doing, the way they're printing money like it's going out of style, you're actually losing wealth every single day. Every single day you're losing wealth. You know what's not losing wealth right now? People that are invested in precious metals. It's actually wealth positive at this point because the prices have gone up so much faster than the actual inflationary rate that you're actually ahead. And Bitcoin's the other one. These are the only two assets right now that are positive. You can roll over your wealth that's tied up in their system. You can roll it over tax-free, penalty-free into a precious metals IRA. Figure out how you can do all of it. I'm a partner with Goldco. I love these guys. They're definitely here to help you. Any questions you have, they will definitely answer them. Go to drslikesgold.com. That's drslikesgold.com. Their system is collapsing and failing as we speak. Now, how this plays out in the end, sure, Trump is supposed to make it better, but is that going to happen before or after it gets worse? And I would say, we'll see. We don't know for sure, but the tea leaves, if you think about it, would suggest that things have to almost look worse going into the election, right? So this is one of those funny things where we don't know if, when, where, how. We know they want to blame Trump for it. It's possible it happens after the election. But sometime in the very, very near future, we are likely looking at a pretty significant collapse that Trump is going to have to clean up. One of the greatest ways you can actually make a little money in this process, believe it or not, is to be invested in precious metals. So either buy some, if you got some cash lying around, you could qualify for some free silver, or get out tax-free and penalty-free from their system into a precious metals IRA. See how you can protect your wealth. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com for data points. And if you qualify, if you've got a qualifying 401k or IRA, you could get this half-ounce free silver coin, collectible coin. It's pure silver, 0.999% pure. Very, very cool stuff. For data points, they're going to get in touch with you very quickly. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. All right, so Hillary Clinton is suggesting jailing Americans for posting misinformation. This is kind of funny when you think about it, but let's play this first.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence because then boosting.
So my question, I guess, to you, Hillary, is how would that be related to, say, I don't know, somebody who paid to have a dossier written that then made it look like President Trump was tied up with Russia, which then in turn affected the outcome of the election? What about that, for example? Because I know we have the one person that made memes about where to vote in relation to you, and it was incorrect. So that's why he's, I think, currently in jail. So what do you say about that, Hillary? Because, gosh, it sounds like you all don't want propaganda to be shared, but at the same time, you guys continue to propagandize to us. You lie to us constantly. Very strange how these games are played. Meta has announced that it is banning Russian state media outlets, including RT and Rossiya Segonya, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, from its platform globally. The decision follows claims that these outlets are engaged in deceptive tactics. Claims that these platforms are engaged in deceptive tactics. There's claims. There was claims that the Russian laptop was disinformation, and Meta took down everything about that. Now Meta says we're not going to get involved like that again, but there's claims that RT is spreading some sort of horrible propaganda, somehow worse than what ABC is doing, or CBS, or CNN. Somehow what they're doing is worse? Why? Because it disagrees with the propaganda they're telling Americans? And Russia's propaganda is sort of opposite or possibly slightly more honest? Huh. That seems like a double standard to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm weird. That's very possible. Now, again, one of the reasons why they wouldn't want us to spread misinformation, disinformation, or in this case, malinformation. These are people in Ireland. They're using drones to block traffic cameras by putting trash buckets over them. Not like I'm trying to give you any ideas or anything. But in case you needed ideas, apparently this is a very nifty way to camera. Didn't know. I didn't know. Did you know that? I didn't know that. That's weird. I thought that was good information just from the standpoint of it's amazing what drones can do these days, huh? Now this is just awesome. Kudos, Jeremy Kaufman. I love you, bro. And I have plugged your platform a bunch, by the way. He is apparently the, I think, CEO or whatever his title is of Odyssey, the platform that I actually frequently talk about. I love it. One, their quality is really good. The stream rates sometimes, not stream, but sometimes it's hard to get a solid connection, but that seems like that's improved greatly. But they've got this fun little thing where you kind of get paid, like their fake little money or whatever, for watching videos. And then when you publish videos on there, it costs you a teeny bit of money. And I guess if you spend more, you get it shown more places. It's just, I don't know. Odyssey's kind of a fun platform, right? If you can find any of the people you like on Odyssey, I'd watch them. I'd just give the platform some love. I don't know. For some reason, I kind of feel like they should make it, and they're doing a lot of the stuff right, and they're actually pretty clean. And they've got, it's funny, I've got like 2, 3, 4 people on there now on my live shows on Friday, which, by the way, this week, we're going to be doing John Mellencamp. I had to think for a second. I've actually already got half of it recorded. It is going to be a fun show. I was surprised. I've been dragging my feet on doing Mellencamp. I always loved him. I was afraid that I don't know if I'd have a hard time maybe finding enough songs. Oh, I found so many awesome songs. So Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, we will be doing a live show. You don't have to necessarily join us live. It's awesome if you can, but definitely check out the show. In fact, the show I did just on this last Friday was epic. It was some newer stuff. It was inspired by Ed Sheeran. There are some really awesome songs in there. I've listened to it actually 5 times now since Friday. I've already listened to that whole entire show 5 times. I am stoked on the music, which is kind of why I make these shows. So, of course, I'm slightly biased. I choose the songs. It's hard to, choose a bunch of crap I don't like. But it was an awesome show. So I highly recommend that. Actually, all you got to do is go to Rumble and check out. If you go to Rumble and go to, I think it's playlists. Yeah. And there's only one playlist I have, and that's all my stuff. And the newest one on there is going to be last week's. And again, we're doing John Mellencamp coming up. Needless to say, lot of stuff, but kind of a fair plug, I think. Here's Odyssey being approached by the feds, and he handled himself, I thought, admirably. It's like this dude knows what's up. And again, this goes back to censorship, malinformation, misinformation, all that fun stuff.
Hey, how can I help you? Yeah.
How are you?
Who are you?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Can you give your full name, please?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Is that sufficient to identify as the only one O'Donnell affiliated with the FBI?
In New Hampshire, yes.
Could you please state your full name, sir?
Could you please stop recording?
No. It's First Amendment right.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
Could you stop recording, please?
Absolutely not. You can show me your name and identification, or I'm going to go back inside my house.
Okay.
I don't really want to broadcast my...
Oh, this is going out right after you guys walk away.
So that's why I'm not going to...
So you can show me your name or ID, you can walk away.
We just want to talk to you.
I'm not going to talk to people who claim to be federal agents unless they can show me identification.
Okay, well, you see our badges.
I need to see... Is your full name on that badge?
No.
I'd like to see something with your full name or I'm not going to talk to you.
I prefer you not to broadcast it.
This will be going online as soon as you walk away.
Well, all I want to do is talk to you about a post that was made, and if you
Well-
happen to be the one that made the
I want to talk to you about you guys coming here. Say you make a salary of, I don't know what, low 100K? You guys making six figures? Factor in 50% expenses, overhead, maybe 100% expenses. Talking about burning a couple $100 an hour just here, let alone all the time you guys are spending to investigate something that you know is not against the law, right? Like, you're familiar with... So then why would you come?
Because we wanted to make sure that there weren't any other
No, you're
threats.
coming because you're part of a regime that does this kind of thing when you know laws aren't being broken. And that's an embarrassment, man. Didn't you guys read the Constitution? Do you not believe in America? Like, how do you do your jobs and go home?
We appreciate it.
You're walking away. Because nothing we did is against the law, and you guys are fuckheads that try to act like bullies. And I hope you go home and are embarrassed. You can't even say your name on camera because you know that what you're doing is embarrassing. You know Americans that believe in the Constitution think you're laughable. And you go home and you think about what you did today. Go home and think about it, you cowards. Drive away. Drive away.
Thank you for your time.
You're not welcome. You should be embarrassed. Embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing.
I gotta be honest. I think I have a slight man crush on Jeremy right now. Jeremy, well done, sir. Well done. Well done. Elon Musk reminds us in his post, the establishment is the party in power. Whatever one wants to call them, they control the presidency, the press, and government's institutions, and therefore are, by definition, the system, machine, etc. They are the empire, not the rebel alliance. I love when he gets all geeky and stuff. That's just so epic. So cool. Zelinsky latest interview since the assassination attempt on Trump by an alleged Ukrainian asset. This guy was totally tied up with the Ukrainians trying to get all sorts of people into Ukraine. Very interesting. But CNN doesn't understand how this war will end, as Zelinsky says the only way a peace can be made is if Ukraine makes the Russian people suffer the way Ukrainians have suffered. He wants the Russian people to not have energy, no comfortable lives, and that then they will understand the price of the war and rise up against Putin. This is an insane war strategy that could escalate NATO into a world war. Do you see how unhinged this man has become? Listen to Zelensky. I'm not going to do that. He has no real strategy for victory other than to cause World War III. Is it possible that Ukraine ordered a hit on Trump because Trump and his allies want to stop the war? We don't want to stop the war. We will stop the war. The war will cease, and both sides will walk away with whatever the hell it is. Ukraine did not win, and based off of what Zelensky's saying, for all the people out there that's like, Ukraine's totally winning. Oh, it's like my older brother. I was like, where are you getting your information? I love him, but good God. And he's brilliant. He's possibly, and I don't want to sound like Joe Biden, but probably one of the smartest friggin' people I know. It's trippy to me. That sad. This dude is a mess, and he's saying that he wants Russia to feel the pain they've felt. Well, the pain's been so excruciating to you, and Russia's pain's not been excruciating, then wouldn't that kind of imply that you've lost? You're more pained? You're literally having to import fighters because you've killed off generations of males in your own population? Well, needless to say, they're not happy with him. Oh, here's a story from RT News. Great. You shouldn't trust it, right? Because it's RT News. Well, let's talk about the story at least, because it's not talking about America, but it's talking about America's interests. It's malinformation, one might say. The Ukrainian court to consider Zelensky's legitimacy. See, here's the thing. He was supposed to stop being president back in May. May 20th, in fact, was supposed to be, I think, an election. His term expired anyways on that day. The election, I think, was supposed to be prior to that, and then they would have shifted him out, right? But he's sort of like, we're at war, so we can't have elections. And right, like, I don't know, it was a horrible accent. I don't even know where I was going. It was like 5 accents just spun into one. But they're actually looking into this. And his opposition, by the way, who's been imprisoned, where's that happened before? All over right now, including America? Not just third world countries, or or it just pains me to admit we've become one. I don't think so. We still have first world problems here, right? Like, I'm not getting cell coverage right here. Are you having the same problem? Right? I didn't get my sandwich. It took like 7 minutes to get ready. Like, oh my God. Like, I was waiting at Starbucks. I was tapping my foot too. I thought it would happen faster. Dude, the first world problems we are living with, but they are taking over buildings and cities within our country right now. They're literally killing people and people's pets right now. But that's okay. Because I don't know. I don't have a reasonable answer for how the hell they try to make that okay. I don't understand the people that are in power or think they're in power, because we're taking it back from you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Texas has been rocked by one of the strongest earthquakes in the state's history. This is one of those places where I'd be like, oh, damn, this is significant. They were rocked by, I think it was a 5.1, which I actually do have pulled up. Let's just save ourselves a stupid article. They are, in fact, have had 2 earthquakes. One was obviously an aftershock, but we had 5.1, which I would say in Texas is a big damn earthquake. You guys don't get earthquakes out there. This is supposedly the 5th or 6th biggest one they've had since, forever, since they've had records, or at least been able to record them. Now, I wonder, they're right on top of each other. Fault line aftershocks tend to splatter out a little bit. It's rare that they're directly on top of each other. They are sometimes, but that also makes me wonder if that's a different kind of thing. Oil wells in Texas could be one cause of earthquakes, or fracking, or any sorts of other weird stuff. But I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's a possibility. It could be a dumb. Many people are going to claim that. That's possible too. I would imply that there's been maybe 2 explosions stacked on top of each other, and that's also very possible. I would need to see the seismometer or seismograph reading to be able to feel that way. I think it's called seismogram, actually, now that I think about it. But I would have to see that, because explosions are instant spike and then it comes down, right? Regular earthquakes are like a rattle and then a spike, and then it comes down. But there's always like a preface up to the spike. It's not just you get a jolt, but there's usually a little bit of something, and then it jolts, and then it comes down, or, whatever. So typically, that's a normal earthquake. Like I said, I've experienced a bunch of them. I'm not trying to say I'm an expert, but that is something that people that are in California, like LA Story is a funny movie where we basically are, we're all like seismometer. They're like in a place and the like stuff's shifting around, right? They're like sliding back and forth. And he's like, well, how big do you think this one is? And he's like, oh, it's like a 5.2 or something. Like, it was ridiculous because it was like way bigger than that, obviously. But it was a very funny movie. I mean, I don't know. Steve Martin was in it, and can't remember that chick's name. She showed her boobies, though. I remember that, I think. That was pretty cool. All said, Mike DeWine says there's 33 bomb threats against schools in, wait for it, Springfield, Ohio? Oh, how weird is that?
At least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax. So 33 threats, 33 hoax. I want to make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity at all. We know that people are very, very concerned, and we have taken some actions, and in a moment I'll let Andy Wilson go into more detail. But we've moved resources into Springfield. So I want to say to the parents in Springfield, these hoaxes, these threats have all been hoaxes. None of them have panned out. We have people, unfortunately, overseas who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country. We think that this is, one more opportunity to mess with the United States, and they're continuing to do that. So we cannot let the bad guys win. Our schools must remain open.
Yeah, we can't have people just threatening, and they're coming from foreign places. I think he said that somewhere in there, but I definitely read that. Bill Malugin posted this. Per newly released CBP data, nearly 530,000 U.S. migrants have flown into the United States and have been paroled into the country as part of the Biden administration's controversial CHNV mass parole program. Additionally, approximately 813,000 migrants have scheduled appointments via the CBP app at ports of entry to be released into the U.S. These are lawful pathways created by the Biden administration, and these numbers do not count in Border Patrol data as they are not illegal crossings. Most of the migrants taking part in these programs are paroled into the U.S. on a 2-year humanitarian parole grant, which also allows them to apply to work. Every single ICE source contact I've spoken with has told me the same thing. They do not have the manpower or resources to find and deport such a large population of people if they overstay these 2-year grants. As it stands now, ICE's non-detained docket is on track to hit 8 million by the end of the year, and each ICE officer currently manages an average of 7,000 cases. The agency is already tasked with tracking down and removing those with final orders of removal, aggravated felons, gotaways, etc. They physically do not have the bodies to track and remove this additional population. And there has been no government agency monitoring parole expiration, according to the recent DHS inspector. Bottom line, more than 1 million migrants the Biden administration has allowed into the U.S. via these programs are here to stay, even if they fall out of status and become unlawfully in the U.S. Now, again, not that any of these people are going to hear me, but my recommendation would be don't vote illegally, and who knows, maybe you'll get to stay here. Maybe. But commit any crime whatsoever once Trump gets back in office. Commit any crime whatsoever, and your ass is out of here. Out of here. Like a umpire in baseball. You're out of here. That simple. So, don't break the law. You won't show up on the radar most likely. Break the law, you're going back home. I don't give a shit how bad your country is. You're done. You're done. And that is what's going to happen. Oh, yeah, and to all the politicians and people that took oaths of office, to the Constitution and stuff, if you have been treasonous, you will also go to court and face your day. And depending on how severe that treason was, you either may be locked up for a very, very, very long time, or death, I believe, is one of the ultimate prices you pay for treason in this country. Yeah, the deep state should be very scared because democracy, as you guys call it, is coming to an end. It will no longer be mob rules. It will be a constitutional republic as it was designed. And states will manage mostly their own problems. Doesn't need to be a national thing. It's going to be glorious getting rid of all this crap. CBS approached a Nevada couple. Oh, this is pretty cool. Check this out.
Join you. Leanne and Stephen Schaefer were first to arrive and say they can't wait to vote.
I want someone who's strong, who demands respect and who gets the respect, and who can deal with foreign leaders. I think Trump's the guy.
There's so much going on throughout the world, in this country as well. But do you remain hopeful about America?
I tell you, I've never owned a gun in my life, and I own 4 of them now.
Really?
Yes. I fear for our country.
That was totally me before, was it COVID? I feel like that was that first scare was when especially here in California, because they were trying to make everything illegal. Man, that was hard. Man, that was so hard. I had to actually send back a weapon. It was like a Glock of 17 or 8, something like that, and it was a Gen 6, or I think it was a Gen 6, which wasn't the newest. And it got here, and they're like, "You a cop?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You can't have this." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "This Gen 5 is the one that's legal for you. Gen 6 only law enforcement." I literally had to work out sending it back and getting them to find me another gun that was legal in this stupid state and send me that. It was a pain in the ass. It cost me some money too, but whatever. I got a gun. That was the important part. And yeah, kind of a crazy world. And it's one of those things where, everybody talks about, I don't want a firearm. Totally heard you. I didn't have one until, a few years ago, right? But for me, and I've shot a bunch as a kid. My older brother owns arsenals. It's pretty crazy. So I've shot a bunch of fun stuff. I've had a good time growing up, right? But it's one of those things where it's better to have one and not need it than to need one and not have it. And that was it for me. Like, I was like, yeah, I should have a gun. That's probably it. Just you don't have to keep it loaded per se. Like, but you can, whatever you do, it's your choice. Alex Soros' White House has had access, Alex Soros specifically, has accessed the White House with Biden and Kamala some 20 times since he took office. That should ring alarm bells amongst many of us. New York Times refers to Trump assassin Ryan Ruth as crusader for causes large and small. What's beautiful about this is Jack Posobiec archived this story. Oh, shucks, New York Times. Shucks. And he did it for the very specific reason for when they stealth edit. You see, we just caught you, New York Times. We nailed it. You're busted. And this is what we're going to be doing to you guys. You can no longer lie. We will hold you accountable. You propagandize. We tell the truth. You guys want to take away our free rights so you guys can continue to control the narrative with your lies. No more. Or no mas, as they say south of the border here in California. Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun when we get there. Trump War Room put this out. We've got some very fun stuff because they keep talking about how it's the people on the right that are causing all the violence. It's the people on the right that are heating everything up. It's the people on the right that actually need to ramp it down a little bit. And I would say the people in the center, too, for that matter. But to them, that's the people on the right. So whatever the hell. I don't give a crap. I'll just be lumped into the group of everybody on the right. Makes perfect sense. Well, Trump's War Room posted this. Make no mistake. The would-be assassin of President Trump was egged on by the incendiary rhetoric and lies that have flown from Kamala Harris, Democrats, and their fake news allies for years. Kamala Harris repeatedly, Trump is a threat to our democracy and fundamental freedoms. They've got multiple posts of her saying that. Multiple posts. If reelected, Trump has vowed to be a dictator on day one and openly said he intends to weaponize the Department of Justice against his enemies. It's on us to recognize the threat he poses. The choice is clear in November. They call him a threat. He's a threat to our democracy. He's a threat to our democracy and our fundamental freedoms. Trump's here to take everything away from you, even though we had literally the best years of our life. More from Kamala Harris. It's on us to recognize the threat. Well, we talked about all that. Here was Ellen talking about something stupid, but still works.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
That's odd. Here's Joe Biden saying something.
You called your opponent an existential threat. On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, well, I guess I was.
He said I meant crosshairs. Can I say? I'm going to play that back. He said bullseye. He said he meant crosshairs. Crosshairs, which is specifically a scope. A bullseye just makes it seem like you're a target. But crosshairs means you're looking through a scope.
I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, well, I guess I
dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, well, I guess I was talking about.
So whatever the hell he's saying. No one understands what the hell he says. That's part of the problem. Anyway, Joe Biden says, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Trump is a threat to this nation. Here's Joe Biden again. This is one existential threat. It's Donald Trump. Oh, there is one existential threat. I'll learn how to read. Trump is a genuine, this is Joe Biden still. Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He literally a threat to everything America stands for. Joe Biden again. Trump and MAGA Republicans are a threat to the very soul of this country. Joe Biden once again, and his infamous Hitler war, red-roomed state of the nation or whatever. Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic, and that is a threat to this country, making us all enemies. Tampon Waltz, are Republicans a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Bye-bye, Donald Trump is, who's this? Oh, Gwen Waltz. Yeah, bye-bye. So that's weird in its own way, right? I'm not going to play a whole minute of her. Rep. Nancy Pelosi, Trump is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. Rep. Jasmine Crockett, MAGA in general, they are threats to us domestically. Rep. Dan Goldman, oh, what a douche. He is destructive to our democracy and he has to be eliminated, is the words he used. Here is disgraced Harris staffer T.J. Ducklow, said Trump is an existential, urgent threat to our democracy. Top Harris surrogate Liz Cheney, what I like to call Little Dick Cheney. Trump presents a fundamental threat to the republic, and we are seeing it on a daily basis. At least she called it a republic. Outside of that, Little Dick Cheney, nothing on you. Rep. Steve Cohen says Trump is an enemy of the United States. Rep. Maxine Waters, are Trump supporters preparing a civil war against us? Rep. Maxine, again, I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that Trump is connected with who are training up in the hills somewhere. Rep. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. Rep. Adam Schiff, Trump is the gravest threat to our democracy. Rep. Gregory Meeks, Trump cannot be president again. He is an existential threat to democracy. Rep. Dan Goldman, Trump remains the greatest threat to our democracy. Rep. Jake Auchincloss, whatever. What unifies us as a party is knowing that Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy. Rep. Abigail Spanberger. Trump is a threat to our democracy. The threats to our democratic republic are real. And Kuster. We've got Rep. Becca Balint. Rep. Jason Crow. Rep. Raul Grijavala, whatever. Rep. Michael Bennett. Rep. Stacy Plaskett, Rep. Stephen Horsford, Rep. Gabe Vasquez, Rep. Mike Levin, Rep. Eric Sorensen, Rep. Greg Landsman, Rep. Pat Ryan, Rick Wilson, the Lincoln Project. They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. Democrats should turn their fire on Donald Trump. CNN, she did correct herself after she said that as being bad timing because it was right after the first attempt. Here's Crooked Hillary, literally posted September 16th after Trump's second, we're going to call it attempt. I think it's a stretch, whatever. People are getting pissy about those word choices, whatever. The dude was there to kill Trump, unquestionably. Anywho, here's Crooked Hillary saying more incendiary stuff.
Journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it. They were merciless about what they saw as President Biden's, problems in the debate and calling for him to.
So again, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's doing the same basic thing. Whoopi Goldberg, here's 4 different cases of Whoopi. Claims that the left is innocent and blames only the right for dangerous rhetoric and inciting violence just 48 hours after the second assassination attempt. In January, Whoopi called Trump a dictator. In July, she criticized Trump's granddaughter for humanizing him. So again, we're going to play these because she's one of the worst. Her and Joy.
Let's stop this both sides stuff. It's a bunch, because it's not correct. Right. It is not both sides. It is one clear side, and you can point to many, many reports. You can point to all kinds of stuff that's been reported. You guys have to pull it back. This is not us or them. This is you got to stop doing what you're doing, JD, and what you're doing, Mr. T, because you are not helping the situation. We'll be right back.
I pity the fool, but here's more.
I'm going to be, on day one, I'm going to be a dictator. Who says it to you, tells you, I'm going to put you people away. I'm going to take all the journalists, I'm going to take all the gay folks, I'm going to move you all around and disappear you. If that's the country you want, you know who to vote for. Well, if that's not the country you want, you have to make a decision. People's faith in the country is waning. Yes. That's the thing that's pissing me off, because in fact, there's a reason Joe Biden ran the way he did. There's a reason he's running for democracy now, because that's really what's at stake. You worried that you can't pay your bill? Wait till the other guy becomes president, and you won't have to worry about it because you'll be in some camp somewhere, because that's his promise. For me, I have a lot of faith in the American people. And I don't know very many men who want to be talked to the way that this man has been talking to men in his audience. I don't know any women, and I know his grandchild was up on the thing, and they're trying to humanize him and change your idea about who this guy is. Don't fall for that.
Trump, you're talking about. Yeah. Talking about Trump.
Funny part is, can you imagine any one of us in her audience? Like, none of us watch The View, ever. I mean, just even the snippets is bad enough. We've got, again, Eric Trump doing a pretty beautiful piece right here, talking about what they're trying to do to his father. And this is just asinine, and he's right.
Well, Sean, my reaction is it feels like deja vu. It feels like 5 weeks ago, you and I are having the exact same conversations we're having today. You know, let me just be very clear. They are trying to kill the man. They are trying to kill my father. They are trying to kill the 45th president of the United States. That man right there, that man is a hero to so many Americans. This is a guy who saved this country. This is a guy who spent the last decade fighting tooth and nail under the most unthinkable attacks to save the country, against his own comfort, against his own, family's interest, against his business issue. They tried to take him down. They tried to throw him in jail. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to separate his family. They tried to take him off the ballot and subvert democracy in this country. They've done everything they could. They tried to impeach him. They took down his friends. They did everything. Yet that man right there is still fighting. And I expect him to be protected. I expect him to be safe. This country expects to have democracy. And then I get to hear Kamala Harris at a debate say that man right there, who's the most brave person I've ever met, is a threat to democracy. Sean, the bullets are only going one way. It's really interesting how that works. Why is it that man right there is taking every bullet literally and figuratively? He's taken every bullet from a weaponized system. He's taken every bullet from a gun. And guess what? The media sweeps it under the rug. I heard an interesting statement the other day. It was actually a meme the other day on social media that the Will Smith slap got more attention than Butler, Pennsylvania. And I think that's close to being true because the mainstream media swept it under the rug as quickly as they could and moved on to their next shiny ball to try and promote either Joe Biden at the time or Kamala Harris, which they do every single time. I mean, why is this person literally the punching bag for absolutely everything? And then you hear Kamala coming out and saying, yes, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. The only threat to democracy is the people who are trying to kill that incredible man right there. Again, somebody loved by the entire country. And they've got to tone down that rhetoric. The whole, Joe Biden, we're going to put a bullseye on Donald Trump. That has to end. The Maxine Waters comments, they have to end. The mainstream media who goes after him every single day, it has to end. They are creating a culture of hate in this country. And you know what, Sean? If we ever lost one of our leaders, if we ever lost a presidential nominee, a former president, we'd look like a third world country. It cannot happen in the United States of America. They have to get the resources to keep our political leaders safe. We have to do a better job. We cannot have a third incident. There will not be a third incident. We cannot have this conversation again, Sean. You and I have had too many of them.
Yeah, and I'd be like, hello, I don't know if I'm happy with you guys continuing to try to kill my dad. That's not cool. No, stop it. Get out. Do it. No more. So we are, running into some issues. It's becoming obvious to everybody. Here's more. Eric Trump continuing, actually said some slightly different stuff with Megyn Kelly. I thought it was pretty cool. Check it out.
It's awfully easy to see a big motorcade pulling in there, right? But clearly it was premeditated. There's no question about that. I mean, the guy effectively went into a bunch of Eureka palms, posted along.
How would he know your dad would be there on this particular Sunday, right? Your dad's, apparently it wasn't broadcast. So, I mean, do you have any, because, there are a lot of people thinking this had to be an inside job. And I know we have to entertain that. We have to look down that lane. But is it plausible that he just... Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody had better entertain it. Everybody had better entertain everything. Yeah, right. I never thought I'd say this again. I'm not that tinfoil hat guy. I'm actually a very sane human being, and I think there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there that are absolutely insane. You better believe after twice in 5 weeks, you better start entertaining all of those scenarios because something is very, very wrong, and it could have been very, very different. The guy literally brought a rifle across. Megan, if you look at that, right, you've got a massive street that's wide open. You've got probably 20 yards of beautiful, perfectly manicured grass. Then you get to a row of beautiful palm trees, right? Royal palm trees. And you have about another 20 yards of grass. And then you've got a big hedge line inside the hedge line, you have a chain link fence right on the other side of that. He literally got across all of that holding a long gun, and no one saw this. Right? There weren't eyes on the street. It's not like he's creeping through a bunch of woods to try and get in a concealed spot in total camouflage. I mean, he literally went across a massive highway in the middle of the day with a long gun, something that you can't just throw in a backpack, right? And slither his way into the bushes, adjoining, adjacent to a golf hole that my father happened to be on at that time. Yeah, you better entertain those possibilities, because that's seriously bad. And the guy, from looking at him, looks like a total nut job. Obviously, he's crazy. You see that picture, but what happens if he wasn't? What happens if that guy was well camoed? What happens if that agent just didn't happen to be there at the right time? What happens if that guy killed that agent and then used a scope rifle to take somebody out from not a far distance? We better really start locking down this perimeter, because something is awfully wrong. And as I said 3 times on this interview now, they are trying to get him.
One of the biggest problems that Trump faces, and this is just to help people with the optics side of it, maybe, and you guys might have some extra stuff, send that, put it out in the comments too, but Trump wants it to look like everything's cool. We got this. We're in charge. He's protected, right? That's what he wants the optics to show. Now, in reality, a ton of people are trying to kill him. So it's... right? Many people are like, he just shouldn't do anything in public. Well, of course he can do stuff where there's, they can control the environment and put glass in front of him just in case, right? I get it. But then the terrorists win, right? It's like the people shut down all the schools in Ohio. Like, at what point do you just basically put on your armor of God? And I kind of think that's what he's doing, right? Like he's talking about like that. I'm just going to go out there. God will protect me. And here's the thing, folks. He's right. And for a lot of people, that's a level of faith that they talk about, but living it is actually a different thing. We've got Trump revealing what he thinks the assassination attempts on his life meant and what Joe Biden said to him during the aftermath. I don't know if I've got some stuff where Trump is actually talking to this guy. It's funny, this whole article, I friggin' hate Daily Mail. I don't know, that word sucks. I dislike Daily Mail so much. But whatever. Trump says Secret Service fired no shots. This is kind of an important fact, but Trump's kind of, I think, the arbiter of the truth that we should listen to. It's funny, it's the name of his platform.
It was quite something, but it worked out well, and Secret Service did an excellent job. And they have the man behind bars, and hopefully he's going to be there for a long time. Dangerous person, very, very dangerous person. But I appreciate the comments very much.
Well, I appreciate you for allowing me to interview you in your wonderful Mar-a-Lago home, which is truly an honor, and I'm very grateful for it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Mr. President, I can say that myself, like I was saying, the crypto community, and millions of Americans are relieved that you're here with us today after the second attempt on your life at the Trump National Golf Club. It's just horrifying. Can you run us through what happened?
So I was playing golf with some of my friends. It was on a Sunday morning, and very peaceful, very beautiful weather. Everything was beautiful. It was a nice place to be. And all of a sudden we heard shots being fired in the air, and I guess probably 4 or 5. And it sounded like bullets, but what do I know about that? But Secret Service knew immediately it was bullets. And they grabbed me, and I think probably the other one, Steve is one of the people, Steve Witkoff, a great friend of mine, a great businessman from mostly New York and Florida, great businessman, and more importantly, just a fantastic person. So we're in the group, and everybody we got into the carts, and we moved along pretty good. I was with an agent, and the agent did a fantastic job. There was no question that we were off that course. I would have loved to have sank that last putt, but we decided, well, let's get out of here. And what the gunfire was actually, interestingly, was a Secret Service agent had seen a barrel of a AK-47, which is a very powerful rifle, and he started shooting at the barrel, in the bushes.
Wow.
Could only see the barrel. How good is that, right? But could only see the barrel. Based on that, he started shooting. and ran toward the target and was shooting a lot of, I mean, those were the shots we heard. The other one never got a shot off. And he ran across the street and grabbed his car, hopped into his truck or car. And amazingly, a civilian in that area saw something and it looked very suspicious. And in the car, drove their car to the back of his truck of some kind and took pictures of the license plate, gave them to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Bradshaw is fantastic, very great sheriff for a long time. And within a fairly short period of time, they tracked him down on the highway. It was a pretty high-speed chase. And they ended up getting him. They got him. Because you wouldn't want to have somebody like that out there.
No.
You know, he dropped his gun, the AK-47. He left his gun. He left cameras behind, left a lot of things behind. So the agent did a fantastic job. The civilian did a phenomenal job. A woman. I mean, who would think you could take 1,000 times like that? How many people would have the brain power to follow him and take pictures of the back of his truck so that they end up getting, and the key was the license. So they got the license, and after they had the license, you know, there's all sorts of technology where they can literally pinpoint where this truck is. I never knew something like that existed. And they pinpointed him on the highway. They got him with a high-speed chase. So they got him. It was amazing. So Secret Service did a great job. And I think I can say honestly, the sheriff's office, law enforcement, everybody really did a great job. Very happy about that.
That's incredible.
Another angle this points out to me, by the way, and is
more grace, Casey.
No, just stop right now. Another thing this brings to mind, or kind of hit me, is this is a demonstration. One, I think to any normal, rational human, they literally will shoot to kill you. One of the things that's very interesting is they thought they saw a barrel, or they felt confident they saw a barrel. Whatever the case is, to the point to be able to start firing at them. No hesitation. No BS. So all the people that are like, hey, they should have had drones flying over the golf course. No, they shouldn't. No. And that's one of the things Trump's trying to win. I get it's a risk, folks. Of course, Trump knows it's a risk. Like people, Secret Service have said, if they can get a picture of you on a camera, well, then they can shoot you. For sure. Armor of God. I know it sounds stupid. But I get a lot of stuff that Trump is. I am a lot of stuff that Trump is. Not all of it. I wish. Trump is like pretty awesome, right? He just, some of the stuff, there's stuff I would do differently maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Dude's a rock star. That's all I can tell. Here's more. Suspect in apparent assassination attempt of former president did not have a line of sight on Trump. So what we're finding out is literally, and this is one of the things, if this is true, this is the Secret Service guy, we can't trust him, but if this is true, if we can get some other people to verify one way or the other, if this is true, then, well, Trump was, quote, never in harm's way, which is what they want us all to believe. Oh, they're making a big deal out of a guy that was within 500 yards with a rifle, semi-automatic, able to shoot. Well, did he have a clear shot at the second? No, he didn't have a clear shot at the second. Well, see, it was nothing. Fuck. See? Guy's making a big deal over nothing. Wait. Huh? Why do we believe you? But I want to play it just because, why do we believe him? This is the guy that got put into place after, the other guy above him was fired. Or stepped down or whatever the hell. And also what's funny is he's starting to praise Mayorkas. Again, he's been impeached also. Literally impeached. Senate won't bring it up, but whatever. That's coming. Like all you guys talking Brunson, I don't know. We got some stuff happening where they can literally get rid of a lot of these people just by bringing it up on the floor. But we'll see. Anyway.
Yesterday afternoon, this country was reminded of the heightened and dynamic threat environment the United States Secret Service and its protectees face on a daily basis. Immediately following the assassination attempt of former President Donald J. Trump on July 13th, the Secret Service moved to increase assets to an already enhanced security posture for the former president. In the days that followed, President Biden made it clear that he wanted the highest levels of protection for former President Trump and for Vice President Harris. The Secret Service moved to sustain increases in assets and the level of protection sought. And those things were in place yesterday. At approximately 1:30 p.m., former President Trump was playing golf during an off-the-record movement to the Trump International Golf Course. A Secret Service advance agent supporting the front edge of the agency's layered approach to protection encountered an individual attempting to secrete himself in the woodline. This happened, the alleged gunman was on the public side of the fence near the 6th green. A layered approach of security is integral to the Secret Service's protective methodologies, and it's also the key to our success. As former President Trump was moving through the 5th fairway across the course and out of sight of the 6th green, the agent, who was visually sweeping the area of the 6th green, saw the subject armed with what he perceived to be a rifle and immediately discharged his firearm. The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent. With reports of gunfire, the former president's close protection detail immediately evacuated the president to a safe location. The protective methodologies of the Secret Service were effective yesterday.
And I think that's the takeaway. Not necessarily that we can trust any of the bullshit he says, but I mean, Trump's even saying, like, I was safe. Like, just relax. They got me off the course. Like, I didn't even get to finish my putt. Like, that was, like, you know, come on. He was bummed about it, but they kept him safe. All said, acting U.S. Secretary, Service Director, there could be another geopolitical event. This is an interesting, weird little thing. Like, he's hinting, hopefully, in his mind, I think, from the deep state standpoint, is what I think he's telling us. I think he's telling us, like, we're hoping, because this is what the deep state's trying to do, get a war started, right? So they're trying to get a war started, more war. They got the Lebanon thing, right? A bunch of people's pagers blew up, which is crazy as hell. Not a lot of ways that could happen. Either A, they manufactured them with explosive devices, knowing they would give them to Hezbollah leaders. Who would make the decision to give a certain device to terrorist leaders in order to communicate to them? Who would make that decision? Well, those people implanted explosive devices in them, probably to be able to off people without them knowing, but somebody figured that out and used that malignly, because a bunch of bad people got nuked today or yesterday. This is crazy, right? So this event, I don't know. Deep State's telling us one thing. What's actually happening is kind of another. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like maybe the explosive thing was the attack, and it got all the people it needed to get. And we're like, we don't need to do anything else. We got you. Thanks. We'll talk to you tomorrow, or see you next Tuesday, as some would say.
But the long and short of it is this. Coming out of Butler, I have ordered a paradigm shift. The Secret Service's protective methodologies work, and they are sound. And we saw that yesterday. But the way we are positioned right now in this dynamic threat environment, it has given me guidance to say, you know what? We need to look at what our protective methodology is. We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model. There could be another geopolitical event that could put the United States into a kinetic conflict or some other issue that may result in additional responsibilities and protectees of the United States Secret Service. And so we are working, we are making information available to all of our partners. And I just want to say that the commitment of Congress to the Secret Service throughout the years has been tremendous. And we will continue to work with them and Secretary Mayorkas, whose support in making sure that we're getting what we need has been phenomenal.
I don't know if he said that earlier or just now, but whatever. I knew he said it at some point and it pissed me off. Mayorkas? That guy? Mayorkas? Really? That's that guy. Yeah, I have problems, guys. Come on, don't be mean. Feds who prosecute Trump may not be the best to investigate second attempt on his life. Right? This is the point I was making the other day, yesterday, I think. 2 months ago-ish. July 13th, right? 2 months ago, Trump was shot in the ear We still don't have any answers, any knowledge, right? Nothing. Oh, this guy was from such and such and he had no deal. Okay, but how did it happen? We failed. Huh? Like, talk to us, Goose. Who failed? Who specifically? Let's talk. Let's see where they are. Where did they come from? Because we're going to find some information. We'll piece some stuff together here in a bit. Fred's prosecute may not be the best to investigate the second attempt. Yeah, because you guys haven't told us shizzle since it happened 2 months ago. And here we are again. You're going, oh, no, we'll look into it. What, the people that might be behind it are going to look into it and tell us? You know, we've seen the feds do a lot of weird stuff. Stuff that seems almost borderline illegal. Remember that the guy that owned the airport, with the Clinton airport or whatever, right? And they like taped up his camera so they didn't see him. And then there was like, they came the first day too. Remember that? There was that part of the story where they came the first day. A bunch of them showed up in a parking lot like a Walmart or whatever the hell, right? And they're like, he's not there, damn it. And then the next week, they all did the same thing again. And then they rolled out together to go to his house where they shot him. Where they busted into his house with weapons and shot him when they could have served any sort of normal search warrant during the day, and they didn't. Again, this is the same feds. And we're supposed to, we'll investigate ourselves. No, we probably did, but we're going to look into it and tell you how we feel about it. I feel like it's Beetlejuice, right? Like, you're like, he's not going to tell you what he's going to do. He's doing it. I'll investigate myself. No, you're not. No. Ron DeSantis, he's trying to do something about it. He's got powers. He's a governor. He's got like that going for him.
A state or a county level prosecutor was looking into someone, and then that person became a victim sometime later. The same prosecutor was tasked with helping him. How is it any different?
Well, for a couple reasons. One, the federal government does not have jurisdiction to bring an attempted murder charge. If you look at the federal statute, it applies to current federal officials. Okay, so I'm explaining to you why that's happening, if you let me finish. So they don't have jurisdiction over a case that's not a federal official or is a apparent winner of a presidential election or the formally declared president-elect. So right then and there, we have the ability to pursue potentially life in prison under state law. That's a huge reason why we should move forward at the state level than that. And it is the case that you have a situation where these charges that were brought in this jurisdiction, Southern District of Florida, by the federal government, they were dismissed by a federal judge, and now they're on appeal trying to get those reinstated. And they have a right to do that. But I would note to you, it was Merrick Garland who assigned a special counsel because he said there was a political issue and they wanted to appear to be above it. He was the one that did that. There really was no true conflict. If these were normal crimes, you could have done it. But they did a special counsel. And so if you did a special counsel for that, wouldn't those same concerns animate whether you're the appropriate jurisdiction? So they cannot pursue charges to the extent we can. And yes, I do think that there's a lot of concern about how these agencies have operated. And the state of Florida, I mean, for us, all weird shit is the truth. We're not involved in any of those other things that the Justice Department or FBI have been involved in. So it's better for the public and it's better for justice.
Did he say all weird shit's the truth? Did he literally? I don't know. I want to go back, but whatever. I like this version of guy. He bugged me so much when he ran against Trump. I don't know about you guys, but whatever. He took it like a team. I don't know. I don't know if that was part of the plan. Like, I don't know what it accomplished, frankly. He was wearing lifts in his shoes. So much weird stuff that happened that made no sense. He messed with his own image. He's recovered, I think, admirably. Thank God. He looks so tall because they have podiums that are probably small, like a little short man podium. I'm just kidding you. Sorry, Ron. That was kind of mean. I was fucking with you. Sorry, that was mean. I know it was a button. It was a big giant button on your chest. Can't help but put it. Oh yeah, it says the Great Seal of Ron DeSantis. I love you, buddy. Love you. Sorry, that was mean. That was mean. I might do it again. That was mean. I just want to play like the first minute, just because I was talking about this yesterday, and what does Dan know?
there's so much. Every time you come on, it's always hard trying to distill and choose what we want to focus on. But with this individual, there are so many threads to pull. So why don't you just take it away with your sort of top line findings and assessment on who this individual was?
Yeah, it's all very preliminary right now because the amount of evidence, the amount of the paper trail, the social media trail is so explosive, so vast. It touches so many touch points. You know, I just tweeted a few moments ago that this dude is like the Forrest Gump of CIA paramilitary activity. You can almost spin the globe and find a place where there was CIA paramilitary activity, and somehow Ryan Ruth has just sort of waltzed his way through almost a dozen of them from Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Haiti, Ukraine. It's quite shocking. You know, the official story that this is just some North Carolina construction worker who happened to have a hankering for Ukraine is absolute nonsense. The fact is what this guy was doing.
So again, just that there's a lot of things that make it seem like this guy was CIA all across the board, which I think demonstrates actually how desperate they are. They're literally using actual people within this country. They can't even get people from outside of this country to do this kind of crazy stuff anymore. I don't know what it is. Or this guy was supposed to be good enough to be able to pull it off. Maybe. Which begs the question. I'm sure this agent was probably very good. Very good. This guy's a nut job, but he's been involved with so much stuff, and he's squeaky clean. He's been arrested a few times for like major crimes, gun trafficking and weapons of mass destruction. Those are huge crimes. Twice within 2 years of each other. I think I've got proof somewhere. Whatever. 2 years apart. Two major things. First off, he had a weapon after. That's why they got him on gun charges. It's like, bro, you're a felon beyond felons. You're a felony. You're a felonious feloner. You're a felony feloner who felons. I don't know. Whatever the hell. You can say what you want. And here we are. This guy's still running around in the public. Weapons of mass destruction. This dude's running around in public. Why is that? Trump's golf outings have long concerned the Secret Service. So, of course, we've got a report out that, we should make him stop going golfing. But again, I've told you the optic. Trump wants to pretend or seem everything's okay. And armor of God's a funny thing, folks. It's easy to say it. It's a lot to do it. And sometimes you got to do it. And that is what Trump is doing. There's a faith. It's my favorite, like in Indiana Jones, if you guys remember, like the third one, I think it was, fourth one. I don't know. His dad, all these things racked well to bullshit. He was in there. I don't remember the penitent man. Like whatever. He was saying that shit in that one. But there was the spot where he had to take the step. If you guys haven't seen it, too bad. You should see the movie. It's freaking good. But they threw the sand on it, and then all of a sudden he could see it. I think that's kind of how faith is. You know it's there. You feel it's there. And I've talked about the Great Leap, which is the third chakra to fourth chakra. But whatever. I don't want to get lost. But the faith that you're doing the right thing, even though it seems wrong. You know it feels right. You have to do it. There's a barking inside of you that's, I have to do this. It'll drive me insane if I don't. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. I know. I'm going to do it anyway. It feels like the right thing to do. I can't. It's overwhelming. Don't know why. Trump golf workers are now being questioned because somebody gave up his whereabouts. Somebody said, hey, this is where he's at. He's going to be here. He's playing golf right now. They will, this is our hint. This is our hint. This is how they do the story where they give you a hint of what the fact that somebody's getting busted. But somebody there is a mole. This mole will be exposed. There's not a lot of people that would have had access to this information. And one less person will have access to this information. Think about that for a second. And think about, if there's any backstory too. Has this chick been approached? Who you've been approached by? Like, dude, this is one of those things where you put them off in a dark cell and you start peeling off, thumbnails and nails and stuff. Right? You're like, you can tell us the truth now. Oh my God. Okay. It was Hillary Clinton. I didn't say that. I was just, this was the imaginary person that Biden spoke with former President Donald Trump on Monday afternoon, and the two men had a cordial exchange. The other time that Biden called him was the last time he was unable to kill him. He shot his ear, and he called him after that. It's like, hey, man, I'm glad you're okay. And then the next time he tries to kill him and fails, he's like, no, seriously, I'm glad you're okay. You almost have to wonder, because they don't talk outside of that. Outside of that, it's like, I know it could be spun the other way, like he actually cares that, but he's being jailed by this dude's FBI and DOJ. Like he's being completely relentlessly attacked by this dude's attacks group, right? Like, nah, it's okay. Like, no. We totally believe you, Biden. We believe you actually care. FBI says Trump shooters suspect Ryan Wesley Ruth was on their radar since 2019. We've mentioned this, but whether he acted alone or not, he had a Russian weapon. It's not Russian necessarily, Chinese. They make it, it's whatever. It's made all over the place. Could have been manufactured here. Also, probably the barrel could have been removed and stuck inside a backpack. That whole thought process that's, I don't know how it could have crossed the street. Eric, I think he probably could have put it in a backpack. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Pretty sure that the barrels can be removed. Maybe it's a little weird in Russian weapons. Not as familiar, so yeah. Warped Ryan Ruth once had a fully grown horse living inside his dilapidated North Carolina home, his neighbor claims. I'm going to say I met somebody that they had multiple homes, and they had just little shit homes in like weird random places, and people living them in those homes. And we never knew how or what they were attached to, or how they made money, or how any of this stuff was paid for. It was usually in places where you can buy a home for like not that much money, so it was probably easy just to buy a home and whatever. But this guy, one, you'll have weird people living there, but two, they had a full-grown horse inside of a house. This house, I guess. Now the neighbor scares me a lot. The purple hair and the I don't even know. Right? I can't. I mean, there's just no reason, right? There's no reason to say anything at this point. But this house, you had a horse in there? Yeah, in like the living room area, apparently. Yeah, no, just the living room. It didn't get to clip-clop around. That'd be stupid. Who'd let their horse do that inside the house? Do you? Get out of here. I don't know. Sometimes. Jesse Waters, pretty good show segment here, talking about the second assassination and all the things that went wrong. And Jesse's pretty cool. I'm going to give him some time.
So he's all over the FBI's radar. He was all over the media's radar. And he was all over the State Department's radar. The State Department got a tip about him when he was in Ukraine. Dana, what's a poor roofer from North Carolina doing flying to Ukraine? How's he flying to Ukraine, flying to Hawaii, flying to Palm Beach, flying to Washington, D.C.? Who the hell is this guy?
Yep.
You see he's wearing like an expensive pea coat with some preppy tie, and he's got a Ralph Lauren shirt on. The next thing you know, he's wearing all camouflage and red, white, and blue. This man is nuts. I don't trust him, and I want to know everywhere where this guy's been. Because he's a Ukraine radical. He's been radicalized, either self-radicalized or some other foreign entity has a hold of him, or maybe something we don't even want to talk about. Because this guy, you don't have a convict like that running around out in the open like that, getting interviewed by the Times and just showing up at the right place at the right time. We got lucky. They didn't even sweep the perimeter until he was already on the course.
Right.
They didn't pre-sweep it. And they're patting themselves on their back. They better be kidding me. And this isn't about money. Joe Biden just spent like $20 trillion. There's plenty of money. He wants money. They can have the money. They have as much money as we can print. When has it ever stopped us? We just print it. This is about priorities. The Biden and Harris administration has not been able to protect their rival. Either they're reckless or they don't care that much. But this guy, do you realize how extraordinary to have two attempted assassinations on one guy with huge security lapses in the span of, a couple weeks? That's insane, days. Dana. Joe Biden came out and was listless. If I was president and this would happen on my watch, I'd fire someone. I'd fire someone. If this had happened to Obama, think about it. There was no attempted assassinations on Barack Obama's life like this. And if there was, Fox News would probably be out of business. Rush Limbaugh would probably be yanked off the air because they said something critical. Think about the kind of things they're saying about this guy, and it's completely normalized. Joe Biden's at the beach. They can protect him. Kamala Harris is riding around on a bus that says Kamala Harris all over rural Georgia. No one's ever tried anything. They're perfectly fine with protecting those people, but they can't protect one man. And the answer, why can't they protect that guy? And that's the question.
Well, actually, it's not the question, Jesse. I'm gonna say the question is, why don't they care about doing any harm to the other people that are just riding around with a bus that's plastered with their name on it, not even trying to hide, though they won't talk to the press, so they're hiding from the press. The press they're scared about. Don't shoot me with the camera. Ow, 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 ow. And instead, no. They're driving around with their names all over the bus. But why? Is Trump was just golfing on his own course. Got to be careful. Creepers in the bushes. Why are they only going after him? I think Jesse's question's inaccurate, as George Bush Jr. would have said. Republicans give Biden National Security Advisor 7-day deadline to arrange public testimony on the Afghanistan withdrawal, basically saying if you don't, then we'll use our subpoena powers. It's a P on this, is what it sounds like. I mean, we'll see if this guy dogs him like everybody else. I don't want to jump by my pillow. I don't want to spend forever on it, though, guys. I love my pillow, and it's worth the time always. Actually makes a difference. The blowout sale on the pillows. These are the best pillows ever in the history of pillows. It's going to hurt me when I can't say that anymore. I very, very much like these pillows. Very, very much. The second 2.0 is awesome. I'm like not the best salesperson, but the first one was why I fell in love with the company. I just felt like it was perfection. And, you know, once you find perfection, it's kind of like marriage for people that have only been married once and stayed married and still in love with their wives. You guys know people like that. That's awesome. It's incredible. In fact, there's people that I'm friends with that you can just tell they're in love. It's pretty cool. It's always awesome. See, that's the pillow. I'm in love with this pillow. And like Ed Sheeran in the song I was on the weekend, I'm in love with the shape of you, pillow. Kills me. All said. It is what it is. It's a beautiful thing. They're going away. It makes me sad. $14.98. You can get the best pillow ever. They'll let you buy up to 10 of them. I don't know what that's all about, but that's awesome. You can get at least 10, you know. You could probably fit them in your pocket. They were weird how they roll up. We've got, again, sheets. We've got towels, a whole bunch of stuff. $25. Anything over $75, you're getting free shipping. That's saving you some money right there. Seriously, $15, $20 probably, what, in shipping, right? So right there, bam, saved. Over $75. You just got to buy $75 worth plus a penny. $75 plus a penny's worth of stuff. And then easy ways to do that. So, again, check it out. They've got great stuff. They've got toppers. They're getting rid of these sandals. I don't know why. I don't know why they're slippery. I hope they're coming in with like a new, like rugged 2.0 like thing. I don't know, but it's gonna be rad. My pillow's awesome. Here's the pillows, man. You guys like the new ones? It's a different feel. That's all. It's just a different thing. I don't know what it is. I got issues. My whole life, finding a solid pillow was like hard for me. And I had this stupid pillow that was stained and stuff. But it was like you shove it in a pillowcase, and the girls don't know. You know, I washed it and stuff, but it was just friggin' stained. But it was thin. It was like the way I liked it. And once you find a pillow, it's hard. I think for me. I got pet blankets. I got pet beds. Dude, I got a lot of great stuff. Check it out. Go to mypillow.com. Well, it's not even on the screen. What happened, Dan? Go to mypillow.com. That's not it. mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. That thing, finally. That one. mypillow.com/OTF. There you go. mypillow.com/OTF. Yes. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. I feel like that was tough. I feel like I lost blood on that one. Russia is fully ready to detonate a nuclear bomb in the Arctic, says Daily Mail. Oh my God, any moment. Whoa. No, I don't know. Maybe. Nuclear explosions on the planet, either in Russian or in English, are still bad for the planet. They know that. I don't know what's going on. I think they're just trying to freak people out. Russia. We're going to blow up North Pole because Santa Claus sucks balls. F that bastard. We don't believe in that. I don't know. U.S. fertility apparently has continued to decline. Yeah, fertility rate. Oddly, they go back to, what was it, 2008, I think they said? I think that's the big deal in this particular article. Is 2006. So why did the graph start to fall in 2006? They had some interesting thought processes on this. I thought I'd want to share them. I didn't come up with any of these on my own, I'll tell you that. And who is this? Conscious Strength. 2005, 2006, this happened. FDA approved the HPV vaccine Gardasil, initially marketed to young girls. Yeah, that got approved right then. Monsanto gained approval for Roundup Ready soy, which they put in everything, don't they? That happened then. EPA reapproved the pesticide atrazine, endocrine disrupting effects. That happened then. FDA approved the use of a variety of birth control products, including Plan B for over-the-counter purchases. Interesting. Also, the global recession of the time was happening too. So, bad political thing, which led to our 2008 crash because our economy did take a bump in that whole global nonsense. So, I don't know. Just a few things that happened that possibly could have been tied to that. Who knows? Donald Trump truthed this out. Again, I feel like this was like verbatim. I feel like what he said a few days back. I had to actually go to his channel to believe that it was happening again. Cease and desist. I think this is a legal thing. I think he's legally doing this. I honestly think this is the public square, so I'm trying to help him with that. But he says, cease and desist. I, together with many attorneys and legal scholars, am watching the sanctity of the 2024 presidential election very closely because I know, better than most, the rampant cheating and skullduggery that has taken place by the Democrats in the 2020 presidential election. It was a disgrace to our nation. Therefore, the 2024 election, where votes have just started being cast, will be under the closest professional scrutiny, and when I win, those people that cheated will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences so that this depravity of justice does not happen again. We cannot let our country further devolve into third world nation, and we won't. Please be aware that this legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, and corrupt election officials. Those involved in unscrupulous behavior will be sought out, caught, and prosecuted at levels unfortunately never seen before. The rounding up, the culling will occur. And all these people are going to say all these things that sound horrible about all of us, but yeah, I get you, because you all are done. Dunskies, as we say in the business. Early voting in Pennsylvania. Go vote. Make America great again. He's basically saying, go ahead and be part of that number. It will mess with them. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. I, for some reason, feel like Pennsylvania is one of these places where we should maybe mail-in vote. I don't know why, but he's asking for it, and it kind of makes sense. And I just don't think I could prove it to anybody. But if you live in Pennsylvania, you might want to consider a mail-in vote, and then you can be done with it, because it's going to mess with them. They expect all of those to be Biden, so they prepare in advance based off how many mail-in votes they have, right? But they can't look at them until Election Day, I believe. You guys tell me I'm wrong on that one, but isn't that interesting when you assume 90 to 95% of the envelopes are actually for Biden? You're like, or Harris, she's got this. We only got to print 5,000, right? But then you find out, whole bunch of people voted for Trump. Holy crap. President Trump with some key words on the 2024 election.
Bring $100 million out for you, and then it'll become too big to rig.
Too big to rig is a big deal, and that's true. You can't, at a certain point, you can't get away with it, right? But they get away with a lot of things. They gave millions of votes. We did so well. You know, we got millions of votes more the second time than we did the first time.
Oh, the most in history.
Everyone said, 2016 was so good. I did much better in 2012.
The most
ever. Yeah, we're getting to a pretty tough place. Schadenfreude is apparently happening. $1 billion defamation case against CNN is wiping the smile off Jake Tapper's face. Long story short, Jake Tapper and CNN in general were celebrating when Fox News was getting hammered by Dominion or whoever it was, and that was like $787 million. Well, now CNN's in a $1 billion lawsuit, and Jake Tapper's kind of at the center of it this time. Because, well, this case, CNN, and they failed to settle a defamation case. This Navy veteran who says Jake Tapper's segment destroyed his reputation, he was a guy that actually went into, I believe it was Afghanistan, to try to get people out sneakily, if you will, to get them out so they could get out, Americans, out of Afghanistan when they batched the withdrawal and stranded people there. This guy went and helped, and CNN slimed him. And so he's suing them because his business lost probably lots of money. And CNN was not able to settle. This guy wants this to go public. He wants discovery. He wants a lot of things. Whoops. Judge allows Dominion founder's deposition in Mike Lindell case, which means the co-founder, the founder, I guess, has to come and do like a 3-hour deposition, but the lawyers get to ask questions. This is part of the discovery process. Now, I hope Mike Lindell's not allowed to talk during this. That would probably mess us up. I love the dude, but yeah, there's no way. It would waste so much time. It'd be unreal. But yes, this will be interesting that they finally got this. This is a big legal bout. Texas judge dismisses Paxton lawsuit targeting Democratic voter registration. This is about sending them out to people that weren't necessarily citizens. Paxton had a lawsuit in the process, in the works. This county, which is the largest county, the county of San Antonio, Bexar County, I've found out. It's not Bexar like it should be with the frickin' X in there, or Bexar like the past. Nope, it's Bexar. It's Bexar County. It's Bexar County. Anyway, they ignore letters. Something's not right already. Second you guys started ignoring a letter, you should have known something was up. Here we are, 150 years later. I don't know, whatever. Bexar County. So they basically sent the mail out before the case got in. They knew it was coming. They're like, no, let's do the crime first, and then he can't tell us not to. Ah, sucker. And so they might have even gotten some of these back by now. And so Paxton's kind of pissed, but it's too late, and that's why the court kicked it out. They're like, it's a moot point. They already mailed them out. And he's like, damn you. So Paxton takes a small loss. Maybe it was leaked. Paxton, maybe you should be checking into some of the people and your personnel that leaked this. Hopefully they are.
On this Tech Tuesday, former President Donald...
Oh, yeah, all right. He's doing this crypto thing. We'll talk more about it as it comes up. It's supposed to make all the crypto people happy. I was going to play the 2-minute video here, but this is already so ridiculously long, and most of that's because I talk too much. All said, I don't have time for all this other stuff. Guys, we're making an enormous difference. Deep State's losing. They're losing ground. They're slipping backwards. Tug of war, they're sliding forwards. They're falling and stumbling, and we are actually pulling them. We are making the difference. Don't give up. Don't stop. Keep in your mind what tomorrow can be. And that's a world without all this. Without all this crazy stuff. Without all this, well, that's just human nature. We don't know. We don't have to have all that human nature. Human nature is different. I think it's more evil nature. We don't have to continue that if we can actually get the evil influence out of things. And actually, the fact that we're all waking up to it means it's not really as functional anymore. The world's changing, guys. We're part of something hugely magical. Awesomeness. And I'm just glad to be a part of it with you guys. I'm glad you're here with me. I want to remind you guys of this awesome place where you can get merch, kind of help out the big picture. Of course, it's truththread.shop. We got the new shirt for the 9/11 stuff. So come on and check it out. Truththread.shop. That's truththread.shop. We can all get this ball across the finish line together, and that, in fact, we will do. We do this together. We do it as a group. To me, that's the main thing of what I like to say at the end of all my shows really means. Where one of us goes, and maybe in your case, where you go, we kind of all go with you. We're all part of this larger thing. Let's expand, let's grow, let's learn, let's evolve together. It's going to be an awesome time. And the world is changing. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.